Hey everyone, welcome to the r/Indieheads podcast. I am your host, Matty, aka Recon IG. On this week's podcast, we have
the original thug, Jeremiah, aka Killtrap, aka Thug.
Hi, I'm MC Charles Barkley, or Tatios NG on Reddit.
I'm Sara. Nice work, Sara.
And I'm Keaton. I'm a new member. I'm Strensum's Tooth and Can.
everyone, welcome Keaton to the podcast. Another noob.
What does your name mean, Keaton?
Oh, that's an interesting story. Right before I decided to join Reddit, I had a dream where I opened a can of peaches and there was just a single tooth floating in high fructose corn syrup, and I recognized that as my own, and that was really freaky. And then also I joined it because of YouTube's SourceFed, which I'm kind of falling out of now, and they have a running gag about this company called Strensum's who releases only shitty products. But yeah,
I had a dream last night. It was actually kind of a recurring dream. I was on a rooftop with some people, and this is a rooftop actually that was in one of my dreams before. And there's this girl that looked like Leah from the React series, Kids React and Teens React and all that shit. And she was showing her cleavage to people.
What?
That sounds
Anyways,
real.
on to album releases and streams. So let's start with the news. Album releases and streams. Passion Pit put up Kindred, his new album for streaming.
I have not listened to it yet, but I'm really...
Okay, Jeremiah.
What?
I had to go through the list.
Oh my god, you're the worst.
Jeremiah, okay, you've been on the podcast how many times now?
Look,
what episode are we on? This is 18, correct?
Yeah, I've been on most of them.
Okay, anyways. Speedy Ortiz put up Foil Deer for streaming on NPR. Built to Spill also put it up, their new album Untethered Moon on NPR, along with Alabama Shakes with their new album Sound and Color, and San Furman Jackrabbit. And I know Ethan really, really loves the new Speedy Ortiz record. I think he gave it a 10.
Yeah, he's saying really good things about it. I'm gonna buy it when it comes out.
I think I need to listen to it, but
I think for me streaming like this just isn't really convenient for me, because never I never really find a place to sit down and just listen to it from my computer. It's kind of hard. Yeah. But I'm really excited. I
stream them at work.
One.
Yeah, I didn't realize Passion Pit was up. I gotta listen to that.
I'm really excited. I'm not gonna listen to it on the stream, but I am gonna buy it.
Because I know you listen to Built to Spill, Sara.
Of Passion.
Yeah, I can talk about that.
Damn,
Gossamer is an amazing album.
What was the one, Manners? I just really liked that in high school. That was one of the first albums that I really got into. That got me into music. Passion Pit.
Yeah.
I think.
Do you want me to talk about Built to Spill?
Yeah, go ahead.
Untethered Moon. I've listened to it 3 times now, and the singles a lot. And I listened to it just before we started the podcast today. And I think there's one song on there, Living Zoo, that's fucking incredible. But the rest of it is just kind of okay, cool, all right. And then the structure of the album is kind of weird, it kind of tapers off. But other than that, if you like Built to Spill and you want new Built to Spill stuff, then here it is. So
yeah, I agree on that. Don't keep it a secret. It's a good newer record, but yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yay! I didn't listen to anything.
My favorite part in it is during Living Zoo when he says something about the tigers, and then the guitar goes "rawr," and it's like a tiger. That's it.
Also, you can lightly hear Doug March's beard from time to time, and that's worth it alone.
That's what I dream about, the sound of his beard, just against a mic.
Yeah, ruffling against the mic, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I was excited for 3 of these. I loved Alabama Shakes' first record, but I haven't listened to the new one. And San Fermin, I think, kind of lost their appeal after they lost their previous female vocalist. So I almost want to check that one out, but I still didn't.
Mm-hmm. So I probably need to listen to Speedy Ortiz because Ethan's really he's raving about it. I don't know because Ethan usually isn't I think he's one of the less reactive people on the podcast when it comes to certain records. He's usually more kind of laid back about stuff. Like he takes
conservative.
time.
Yeah.
He's very conservative, and like he's like this is a 10. Like I'm like, oh god, okay, I think that's worthy of checking out if he's already considering it a 10.
Yeah, I was gonna listen to Foil Deer for the same reason, but other than that, I haven't.
Well,
I
they're
haven't
also gonna
touched
be-
any of these. Just because like none of these bands are bands that I'm that into, but I haven't heard Speedy Ortiz at all, so. I should
Neither have
probably...
I. So I'm actually.
Or San Fermin. I haven't even heard of them. But yeah.
Mhm.
They're like very baroque stuff, just like beautiful voices drive their music mostly. Then they're pretty lush and orchestrated. I suggest
cool.
watching their NPR Tiny Desk concert. It's pretty great.
So yeah, nice. I guess you guys want to go on the album announcements?
Sure.
Does this really count though?
Well,
I wanna. Well, the thing is, it's
sorta
the only
counts.
one. It's the only one this week, and this is an Indieheads exclusive, but it's also a rumor because it's not confirmed yet.
Somebody on the R Mac DeMarco sub said something very similar. Like they talked to him after the same show, and he said a different date. I think he said like August. Like he said like first week of August or something.
that's August 7th.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, but it like wasn't as confirmed. But yeah, so I think this is somewhat confirmed.
Okay, so
Yeah,
can I say what the name of the record is real quick?
Yeah.
Okay, so Mac DeMarco is supposedly releasing an album called Another One on August 7th or the first week of August, which I think it's August 7th is a Friday, and which works out because they're starting to change like the release dates to Fridays now, so it makes a lot of sense that's August 7th. So but there hasn't been an official announcement from Mac DeMarco or Capture Tracks, but we do know the album is being either it's currently being mixed and mastered or it's already been mixed and mastered.
Mm-hmm.
So it very much could come out like I think this is very much just like I could probably see it coming out at this time.
Yeah. He posted that video like a couple of weeks ago, so I wouldn't be surprised if it was like almost done being mixed and mastered.
Oh, it is done by now.
Yeah. So
The sounds on it are just great. Like already I can tell it'll be like Chamber of Reflection. And like that Chambers of Reflection, that excites me so much because that was one of my favorites on Salad Days. I think that
was my favorite also.
Yeah.
So yeah, very
Stand
excited.
Salad Days
Yay.
is just a great album.
It is a great album.
Oh yeah.
It's
That
very
actually got
chill.
me into him.
I honestly
Like,
wasn't a fan. I like 2 though.
It's very pleasant.
Yeah.
I gave my Salad Days vinyl to my cousin, who's a fucking cunt. And if you've been
Oh,
following
Lord.
the podcast since like the very beginning,
What?
you know exactly
Oh
who
my God.
who my cousin is. And he gave me
Classic
I
cousin.
traded Salad Days with Dre's The Chronic with him, which I regret.
Why?
Yeah.
Why would
Chronic-
I
you do
regret because
that?
I want that record back, and my cousin's
The
a cunt,
Chronic
and
is
I
like
hate him.
literally for sale at every single record store on earth.
What, The Chronic?
Yes.
Yeah. It's like walk into the closest Hastings and you'll probably be able to find a copy of the Chronic.
Well, I'm a fucking idiot, and I want my Salad Days record back.
Just go up to him and be like, "Hey, yo."
Okay, anyway.
Excellent point,
Hey,
Jeremiah.
Matty, would you say the salad days are gone?
Oh my god.
Salad days are gone.
They're like,
Let's move on.
Okay, single alert. A couple singles released this week. Crystal Castles made their comeback with the new single with Frail. It's their first song without Alice Glass, and I actually think it's like better. I think it's actually their best song since like their second album, because 3 was just like mediocre across the board. Which I think is because Alice Glass had more influence on that album, and Ethan Kath kind of took a step back. Which what do you guys think of it?
I'm not a fan of theirs, and the single didn't really change my mind, but I thought it was alright. Like, I kind of like the sample in the chorus, especially.
Yeah, I agree with that one, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely, like, I mean, compared to the bulk of Crystal Castles' music, I feel like it's fairly laid back for them, but it still has that grit that is on 2 and kind of that atmosphere that is on 2. So yeah, it has me a lot more excited than a lot of the sounds on 3 does. I totally agree with you.
Did we also mention there's a bit of indie beef? This is the part where if we had a soundboard, we'd have a bunch of air horns and whatnot.
Crystal Castles is always part of so much controversy, anyways. Like in 2010.
So listeners, so imagine a bunch of air horns going off right now. Okay, so
wait! I have a kazoo. I hope that helps.
Okay, please stop. Okay, anyways, there's a bit of indie beef this week with Crystal Castles. So when Ethan put up the song on Facebook, he posted a passive-aggressive message basically saying that, like, oh, by the way, I wrote most of the songs on, like, the Crystal Castles album, and Alice barely did shit.
Keep in mind that Alice left.
Alice left. And then he deleted the message, like, an hour later, and then Alice Glass commented on Twitter about Ethan's comments, basically saying, like, actually, I did write most of the lyrics on those records, and yada yada yada. My solo album's coming. I can't wait for all to listen to it. That's the indie beef. It's just like just a bad breakup within a
indie
within
beef
a band.
is so passive aggressive.
It is passive aggressive.
Yeah.
Like most music beef in general nowadays is passive aggressive, which I think is better than compared to something like Tupac and Biggie where they're getting shot.
Hang on.
Which it's not fun.
Can we take a moment, just take a little moment to reflect upon the fact that Sun Kill Moon has released a song titled "War on Drugs, Suck My Cock." Like, I know this is like all anyone talked about last year, but it's just like I just think the fact that happened is just so exceptional, and like that's a great moment in time right there.
It is very bizarre, and
it felt like Sonic Youth renaming Kill Your Idols Robert Christgau or Choke on My Massive Dick or whatever that was, if you know about that. Like,
what did Robert Christgau diss their record?
Yeah, it was one of their early records, and like I feel like he did a live review of one of their concerts and was talking about how they were like ridiculous noise, and people say that they're sophisticated, but if you listen to their lyrics, they're saying absolutely nothing. So like Sonic Youth were just like totally fuck you to him, and like they would play that song during that era. I feel it was pre-Sister, maybe around Evil. They would play that song and they would always announce it under the new title. Like, it no longer was Kill Your Idols. But later, Robert Christgau gave like Goo a really good review, so they kind of made up.
So the indie beef was squashed eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Sonic Youth and Robert Christgau win. They realize friendship's more important.
Aww.
Friendship. Oh yeah. The force of love can trump anything, kids.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Speaking of love, Sufjan Stevens released a new song called
I'm sorry.
Hello,
Sufjan.
We can talk about our massive man crush on Sufjan Daddy Stevens after I say the song.
Daddy.
So Exploding Well, I think this was released as a 7-inch on his tour.
Matty.
And again, someone bought it. It got ripped. And then Asthmatic Kitty was really cool about it. Like, by the way, here's a song, guys.
Asthmatic Kitty is the coolest.
Alex
I just need to say that this is more than a crush for me. This is true love, Matty. I'm sorry. This is so irrelevant, and yeah.
Do the kazoo again.
I managed to
Please don't.
Don't do it.
Don't listen to Sara. Please stop.
Oh, this is beautiful,
Sara,
Keaton. Thank you so much. I managed to get the single at the concert. It's cool.
I'm gonna need a chance to get that. I think I'm gonna go to Doors at like 2 hours before they open, just to snag one of those bad boys.
2 hours before they open is like a little extreme, Jerry. I got there a half an hour before they opened and I was good, but you might want to do like 45 minutes or something because I feel like word is getting around.
Mm-hmm.
I really like this song. I feel like it takes like all the best of Sufjan. Like it does, like it's intimate, like Carrie and Lowell, like the way he sings is kind of like whispery and emotional, but it's still like got more instrumentation than most of Carrie and Lowell. I think it's one of his best songs.
It's got the electronic like.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Right off the bat, it felt very Age of Odds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So good saying. Sufjan Stevens is a very consistently great musician, and he is a beautiful, beautiful man. How is he? How is he 39? I cannot believe he's 39. He does not look like.
He's also not married.
Well, that thing is, being single, not having kids, or anything like that really does, take some years back.
He's mine, folks.
Sometimes I pretend that St. Vincent and like Sufjan Stevens had like a little love, and like were married, but then divorced before anyone could find out.
No, they probably didn't get married. They probably just had like one summer together.
Well, did you know that St. Vincent's I think right now she's currently dating like Cara Delevingne?
Yeah. You know the song One Summer Night on Pom Pom? That song's about Sufjan and St. Vincent and the fleeting love they shared together.
Oh, I believe it.
Such a nice little couple.
One summer night. Can we talk about celebrity couples for a second? Can we talk about how Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds' child is going to be the most beautiful thing in the world? Okay?
I would agree on that. I co-sign
Blake
this.
Lively is like, and so is Ryan Reynolds, and that's just like.
Oh yeah, Ryan Reynolds and Eva Mendes.
And I just
it's kind of this is kind of weird. We really shouldn't be talking about this.
Yeah, this is weird.
Okay, anyways, let's go.
You know what we should talk about instead is Brand New.
There we go. Thanks, Sara.
Well,
what is Brand?
Has anyone ever said that?
I don't know. Anyways, Brand New. They released their first song in like 6 years. It's called Mean. Will is like the biggest Brand New fan on the podcast, so he is not here to talk about this song with us. But are there any other Brand New fans here that would like to talk about the song?
I listen to Brand New only when I feel like I need to listen to Brand New, and at the time this was released, I was like hard jamming to Washed Out, so I haven't listened to it at all.
I mean, I listened to it. I've never listened to Brand New before. That was okay.
Yeah. I had the same story. I thought it was alright. It was good. It was okay.
I just feel like I remember them from when I was like younger, and I'm just like past ever really being interested in hearing what they have to say.
Yeah.
No offense to anyone who likes Brand New. Like, I have a lot of bands that I liked when I was younger that are, still turning things out when they. Okay, I'm not gonna insult them. I'm not trying to insult them.
No, I feel you. I feel like there are a lot of bands that like I really, really loved initially, but over time they've just kind of grown stale in my mind. Like, I was the biggest Shins fan in the world, and like Wincing the Night Away was a record I absolutely fell in love with, and I tried to get it played at an 8th grade dance, and they yelled at me. But like, I bought Port of Morrow, and it just wasn't what I expected it to be. So I haven't really followed James Mercer at all, and I feel like that's how Brand New are for a lot of people, just more leaning hardcore or post-hardcore,
When I got Port of Morrow, the same time I bought Imagine Dragons Night Visions.
Weird.
And I didn't listen to Port of Morrow for 2 weeks because like Night Visions was on repeat. That album was good, okay? Okay. No, hey, hold on. Before you guys laugh at me, I did see them at 12 when they were at 12:30 show at Firefly. Like, I've been following Imagine Dragons since before the meteoric rise, and that was also when I bought the album. And but Port of Morrow was I actually really, really liked Port of Morrow. I still do. It's the perfect fall album.
From time to time.
It is like the quintessential fall album. That's also when I listen to it, but it's very crisp and like, autumn.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I don't think it's the Shins. You know what I mean?
Oh, I see.
Like, I like it and I'll listen to it, but it's not the same thing as the Shins in my mind. That's like not the same sounds at a very fundamental level that we're on. Wincing the Night Away or, Oh Inverted World or any of that.
Yeah, I see.
But yeah.
Yeah.
We talk about Imagine Dragons though.
Oh, well, actually,
Imagine Dragons are the U2 of our era. All right.
Oh, then U2.
I don't think that's a fair comparison.
I think U2 was actually good at one point.
Yeah, like the
good.
Joshua Tree is an incredible record, and
Actung Baby is good.
Edge is a great guitarist, but I just can't listen to their records anymore. ugh, it
What about
makes me
Active
feel
Misty,
sick.
though?
Imagine Dragons is like just like a slightly better Nickelback, basically,
Oh.
and with more electronic
Oh,
elements.
boy.
That's too far. That's far too far.
Or fuck it, they're
It's not
okay.
even
Here, okay,
right.
come on. Okay,
Imagine Dragons are-
you know who produces for Imagine Dragons?
Alex the Kid.
Alex the Kid. You know what he produced? He produced some of Eminem's worst fucking songs. Like, if you create like a top 10 reasons why Eminem sucks now, like Alex the Kid, he's somewhere on that list. Like, you can blame him
With Imagine Dragons.
for the influence of like Eminem's like post like relapse sound for why it's so bad.
The thing with Imagine Dragons is that they're always going to be destined for greatness because the fact that their songs were so like arena ready, and of course they combined like synth pop and rock, which is always tantalizing. And the singer's actually, like him a lot. He's pretty good. Demons was a
stand
song
his
that
voice.
started out being good, and then the more you heard it, the more the flaws start to come out. And then when it hit mainstream radio, that was when the song just died. Because you would hear it every day. You'd also hear like kids singing along to it, and it's like, this song that was once like really powerful and intimate is A, no longer powerful and intimate, and B, like, you can't really, it just wasn't good. I just realized that like it really wasn't that good.
That's kind of how I feel about Mumford and Sons.
Yeah.
I don't want to start that, but yeah.
I can't stand the
It's
bands
funny-
that are being mentioned right now. I'm sorry.
It's funny you say that, though, because The Tallest Man on Earth released a new single, Dark Bird is Home. Right? Want to talk about that, Maddie? No, I love them.
I don't know who this band are. I thought the song was okay.
I thought it was extremely forgettable.
Very forgettable.
Wow,
Oh.
guys, I thought it was beautiful. I loved it.
It was pleasant, but I don't like it as much as his older stuff. Like, I really love some of his other music, but it's certainly pleasant, and I more go to him not as much for pure happy sounds. And that's just kind of how even though it's called Dark Homes, like the guitars they almost remind me of the first song on Grizzly Bear's Yellow House. So it's like just beautiful music that makes me feel good. And I don't know, that's not what I go for Tallest Man on Earth.
Okay. Well, I loved it. I mean, I listened to him in the past, and it was always just kind of like if I wanted to hear singer-songwriter stuff, and he does it really well. Like, that's exactly what he is, and he's great at it. But, like, this, like, surprised me, because that's what he's always just been kind of like, I don't want to say one-trick pony, because all of his stuff is really unique and beautiful and wonderful, but, like, I was listening to the song, and I was like, cool. It's exactly what I was expecting. And then suddenly, like, a minute from the end, it was like explosion, and all of a sudden there was a band and there was like a drum, and it sounded beautiful, and I was so surprised. Like, the fact that it wasn't what I was used to from him is what made me really like it. So I'm actually pumped for this album now.
Yeah, I can understand that. Like, Tallest Man on Earth is usually very, very, like, leaning towards his vocals because his voice is so interesting and strange, and I certainly didn't feel that as much on the song. I felt everything else.
Yeah, well, I loved it.
I did think that end part was cool, but for the most part, I really just couldn't. I don't know. It wasn't bad. It was just like I didn't ingest any of it.
Oh, I ingested it. I swallowed it whole.
Cool. Okay. So.
Oh my god.
Jeremiah is having a very good time right now, folks.
Okay, so what happened while I was gone?
Oh my god.
What happened is that we're moving on. Yeah. So, Blur came out with a new song. It's called My Terracotta Army, and it's an incredibly sexy song.
It's not.
Speaking of incredibly sexy things.
It's My Terracotta Heart.
So I actually never listened to Blur, other than like song 1 or whatever that song is called. Is it just like Gorillaz but like Britpop, or is it completely different?
No.
It's pretty much different. I mean, unless you associate Gorillaz only with Damon Albarn's voice.
Damon Albarn does like a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he's also, a pretty diverse musician.
I was listening to Everyday Robots. I was like driving to work the other day, and I just like all of a sudden it just hit me really suddenly that Damon Albarn probably has the sexiest voice of all time. Any competition? Can you think of anyone?
Alex Turner.
Freak Ocean?
Marvin Gaye. Day and
D'Angelo?
Night.
Yeah.
Alex Turner.
Okay.
Oh.
Alice Turner? No.
Yeah.
Um,
There's some sexy songs on AM.
we have like, what's going on?
Who else is sexy? Tom York. Ooh.
Yeah, Tom.
Well,
Okay.
you don't think? No.
Listen, no wait.
Listen to
Before
Tom,
you
like,
tell me
yeah,
that
also-
Tom
I'll
York
back
is
that
not
up.
sexy,
I-
before you tell me
I'll
that
back
Tom
up
York
Tom
is
York's
not
sexy voice.
listen
His body
to
is not sexy, but his voice
How do you-
is sexy as hell.
listen to Skip Divided and listen to Weird Fishes, especially the part in Weird Fishes right when it starts when he's like,
Dude, that's my favorite song. Don't make me like connotated with them.
Hold on a second,
But
guys.
yeah,
I think
when the
Oh, never mind. Okay, keep going, guys.
Anyway, that was my note about Blur.
Sorry, someone tried again. For some reason, Jeremiah added someone to the call, and he didn't connect.
Hopefully that didn't like ruin the recording.
I think it'll be fine.
Alex.
Okay,
My notes.
We're still good.
My only note about Terracotta Heart was just nice, cool. So I guess that was my opinion while I was to it.
It wasn't my favorite single from so far from the record, but I'm very excited. I think my favorite is still the first one. I really love that song. Yeah. It seems we have an addition.
Who is this new addition? You want to introduce yourself?
Is he in?
Does that work?
Hey, he's there.
Luca, are you there?
Is he in? Jeremiah, 2015.
Okay, anyways, I guess while we're waiting for Lucas to show up, we'll go into the actual news.
Sure.
So Grizzly Bear, at least Ed Roste said that the new Grizzly Bear album is going to be more adventurous.
Very excited. I love Grizzly Bear.
I like that those
Okay.
two words got everyone excited.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, no, the thing is, after hearing Shields, like, the first time I heard Shields, like, after it, I was like, man, I hope their next record is, like, experimental. Not like because I thought it was
Do you think that's what he means, though? Not experimental.
Well, I mean, I think it's
what it has to
experimental just to change styles, you know, like, that's experimentation for the
that guy
artist.
mentioned in the comments that the album was tame, that Shields was tame.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, I disagree with that completely.
Shields isn't tame.
Shields is not a tame record.
I mean, it's not jazzy like Becca Temise, which is jazzy as heck. But like, that's definitely not a tame record. The sounds in that record are pretty anxious, you know.
More adventurous.
Like
Do you think that means
Sleeping Eat is such an anxious song.
Oh,
I think it's electrifying.
I love that album.
I love Shields.
That
as
album
well.
has the best closer too. Oh my god.
But
That's so good. Okay.
on the topic of like adventurous versus experimental, I think like adventurous could mean a lot of things, but it
Do you think they'll
definitely
record it on
means
a mountain?
brought it. I hope so. Goddamn,
That'd be awesome.
Just
They
recorded forever ago.
They recorded Shields in the woods in Cape Cod. Like, I don't think that.
I think I read somewhere
that's
that
much of a stretch.
I don't remember. I mean, it might have been the article that came from, but Ed Drost. I just call him Drost.
Yeah, I call him Drost as well.
He was he and Chris, the drummer, he and Chris the bassist, were in California, while Chris Bear and Daniel Rawson were in New York, and so it was kind of like a weird recording or there's like a weird conceptual process.
Yeah.
Postal Service round 2.
Yeah, but it was like the very beginning parts, and so I think that's actually interesting. I think that could, if that keeps on happening, it could have a really interesting impact on the album. Because Shields, I know, and Becca Temise too. I think probably Yellow House. They were like everyone was so heavily involved in it. Like they were all. It was like if one person doesn't like this, it's not gonna happen. Local Natives do the same thing, which I think is which again is another Local Natives Grizzly Bear parallel. They're actually so similar. People always call them Local Natives.
I feel like
Grizzly Bear, but
of all bands to hear that like like the next album will be more adventurous. I feel like Grizzly Bear is a super excellent one because they have such a their discography is like diverse. It's like diverse enough that you're not really gonna like confuse songs and stuff. But like I feel like they've done enough stuff. Like Grizzly Bear, good. We have that. We like that. Like now, like I won't be bummed if they're more adventurous and it's like weird and not enjoyable. Like I'll just be like, cool, Grizzly Bear, just doing some more interesting stuff.
Yeah, every record certainly has a flavor of its own. But I think, like I was about to mention, that adventurous can mean a lot of things. Like Tame Impala were adventurous when they tried a lot of pop sounds on Lonerism versus Inner Speaker, which was very strictly psychedelic. So all this means to me is like expansion. And for Grizzly Bear to expand in any way is like a surprising thing because like they had a huge atmosphere on pretty much all of their records.
Yeah.
But honestly, they can go in any direction and I'll trust them like 100%.
I want synth pop.
Yeah. I don't want synth pop, but maybe to go like.
Oh,
I want True Affection. I want 11.
What if they do like a dance album?
Oh my, a dance rock. Oh my god. Every song like 8 minutes long.
Guys,
just like...
not to rain on your parade, but Ed said specifically that they weren't making a dance album.
Shut up.
I'm serious. It was from that article. I'm sorry.
Alex,
whoa,
really? I hang you up from this phone call. I have it clicked over your face, and it says hang up.
Oh. Then that would end the whole podcast. Like I'm the one recording.
True.
See, remember what happened when I kicked Jeremiah out of the call that one podcast, and we had to restart. We had reset.
Oh, that's right, because you were being mean to me.
You were.
Okay, so next news story.
Wait, no, I have something to say.
Right. That's right. I was talking about.
Okay, just don't let them start arguing.
Most of all, I want the next Grizzly Bear album to be good, and not for my own selfish reasons, but I really want them to like nail a classic. Just because I want that for them, you know. Like I feel like I've been a fan for a while, and I just kind of like want them to be. I don't know. I want them to reach that status, you know, where they came out with a bunch of really beloved records, but then really like came out with a classic and
like the national anthem.
Yeah. Like as much as
the end of the 2000s, how they just like escalated, went up and up and up until Medway Post Pavilion. Actually, I don't honestly. Luckily I'm next to a desk made of wood, so I can knock on wood in a second. But given the way that Grizzly Bear works, I don't actually think they can really do anything wrong. Yeah. Because the fact that it's such a group process, and the fact that they're 4 people, like, who all need to be incredibly satisfied before it can be finished, means that their record is going to be very carefully made. It's going to be very, like, well made. It's going to be very thoughtful. So I think that's the main thing we can take away. So, like, sometimes when you have albums that are made by essentially one person, like The Strokes, for example, you can have times where it can be uncertain because it's just that one guy. And it's like, what if this vision that this one guy has isn't actually quite as good as he thinks it is? And there's no real checks around it. But with 4 people, there's so much, teamwork that it's going to turn out well. Yeah. That's why bands like that are really always incredible. Like Radiohead, like Local Natives, like, I don't know, who else is like that? Early Modest
I think
Mouse.
Arcade Fire is like that.
Yeah, Arcade Fire too. When it's such a grueling process like that, which they've said, like, bands like that, they always say it's tough to do that because everyone needs to be satisfied. But in the end, and the albums take like 4 years to make, but in the end, it's always worth it. So I'm ready for it. It's going to be good.
I wonder if it's possible for a band like Grizzly Bear, who have such a thoughtful approach to creating music simply, to like still have that thoughtful, like, very delicate process, but also have like this energy and just like intensity and tenacity, like LCD Sound System, and just like blow out an incredible record.
We saw a lot of that on Shields, I thought.
I mean, yeah, it's electrifying, but like this is happening again. To go with LCD Sound System is like a very powerful record, and Shields is electrifying, but I don't think it's powerful, and I'd like to see them take it up a notch.
What makes this is happening?
Shields is super powerful.
Shields
I think.
is powerful, actually.
Also, what I'm excited for the next record, is the lyrics. Like, they really stepped up their lyric game on Shields. Like, I'm much more impressed with the lyrics on any of the Shield songs than anything
Also,
from
fun
the
fact,
Catamist.
I learned this the other day. If you go on Wikipedia and look at the track listing on each album, it actually says who sings the song, which blew my mind, and I was really happy. Hold on one sec.
Let's do we want to go
We should
to the
probably
next
move
news?
on.
Yeah. Anyways, Julian Casablancas announced that he's going to be working on new material with the Strokes very soon, and in Savages is Ginny Beth. Is that how I pronounce it?
Jenny Beth.
Ginny Beth Wynn.
Yeah,
okay.
That's where it's going.
So yeah, new Strokes material is could be coming soon. What do you guys think of that? Because you guys were just talking about Strokes.
That's good. I mean, I like the Strokes, but I mean, I just hope they. I don't know. Part of the problem is This It is way too good, and like everything else, because everything else is almost has to be modeled after Is This It. It feels like, and everyone's. I mean, it's one of those weird things where usually you shouldn't let the debut album like shape the rest of what you'd expect from a band, but with the Strokes, it feels like there's so much of that sound is like so the Strokes that it's almost like they can't make anything else. I don't know. That's why Come Down Machine was so like poorly received, was because it was so different from Is This It? And I thought it was actually really good. I thought it was really underrated, but like it's people when you hear Strokes, you want that like pop rock, garage rock sound.
Yeah.
You don't
and
want...
I think they're gonna try to redo the older stuff and then add in some kind of like weird modern like pop element, and I'm like kind of scared that they're gonna do that.
I think that's what they did with Angles, and honestly, I think they succeeded with that. Like, I love that record.
Yeah, that's true. That record was pretty good.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I just wish they would. I don't know. It's weird because Julian Casablancas, he had so much with their last two albums. They've actually all been doing stuff, whereas Julian Casablancas, of course, was just him on the earlier ones. And we saw with Tyranny that he's clearly like getting into more experimental and like wacko things. And with Albert Hammond Jr.'s solo stuff, which is pretty good. What does that sound like? I haven't listened to that in a long time. I actually can't place what it sounds like. It's kind of like more aggressive Strokes, I guess.
Yeah,
but
that's safe to say.
More aggressive Strokes. It sounds dirty.
But I guess we could get, I don't know, it could be cool. Especially if the entire band is actually getting in on it this time, and actually not like consciously trying to make it weird. Because I felt like there was a vibe with the making of Angles and Come Down Machine, but they were trying so hard to like make it different and be collaborative that like they almost dismissed the good ideas because they didn't want it to be one certain way. So that's what it kind of felt like. So you had songs like Undercover of Darkness that were like banging, but you're like, where are the other? I'm sure there were more than one Undercover of Darknesses.
There are a number of songs on Angles that I think are like of that level. But I just listen to that record a lot.
So good. That song is awesome. But yeah, I mean, I think their releasing stuff is underrated, but I do hope that, I don't know, I hope they don't overthink it. Part of what made Is This It, Room on Fire so good is it feels so spontaneous, you know? Mm-hmm. And I just worried that Come Down Machine and Angles will feel a little bit too overproduced at times. And I don't know. I just want like a jam sesh. Kind of like the new Modest Mouse album. How like it took them 8 years to make it, which is a bad thing.
So you're saying the new Modest Mouse album is like a jam session?
No,
it's the opposite.
I'm saying the opposite.
Oh, the opposite. Okay. I was gonna be like, no fucking way is that like a jam session. That's so like overly produced.
Yeah, it took them 8 years to make it, which meant that they had time to overthink it. Whereas I feel like, and of course, between This Is a Long Drive and Lonesome Crowded West, there was like a single year between.
Oh yeah, This Is a Long Drive has so much weird spontaneity, and it's weird to think.
Has had a lot of weird spontaneity, but I feel like with a band like that, if you lose that spontaneity, like they did with their most recent one, you know, it can be dangerous. That's why I'm hoping for their sixth album, which they announced. And I'm hoping it wasn't made during the same recording sessions. I'm hoping
I think it was. Honestly, I think they said it was.
Hoping. And that way we can actually get something cool from them.
I'm I'm kind of like the kind of Modest Mouse fanboy who will stand by everything they do, and if I don't like something they release, I'll like listen to it until I like it. And that's what happened with Strangers to Ourselves. I actually like that record, and I can understand why people don't like that record, because like it's almost like seeing a broken down like truck with spinning rims, because that production is so like
lagging a little bit, buddy.
Snappy, you know what I mean?
Oh, hold on, what just happened?
What's up, Matty?
Oh, okay. I think Keaton
I know what you mean.
Lagged out in the middle of his like little.
I heard him the whole time. He's on the recording.
Yeah, me too.
Matty, it's on your end. Rip. All right. Anyways, moving on because Matty can no longer host the podcast. I'm your new host for the podcast.
No.
Next news point: Ben Gibbard on Tidal. This thing is going to fail.
Shout out to you, Econ G.
The new leader of
Danish,
the podcast.
I think he's Dutch.
He's Danish.
I hate you all.
Yeah.
Are you
anyway,
Ben Gibbard. That quote to me.
Let's talk about Tidal.
Yeah,
I do actually want to talk about Tidal.
The only problem with Tidal is that it's.
Will somebody give a brief rundown about what exactly Tidal is?
Tidal is Spotify, but better.
It's just a streaming service.
No, Jeremiah, let me.
That's what I thought.
Okay, so Tidal basically is like it's competition to Spotify, which I think competition to Spotify is good. However, Tidal is not the right competitor because again they're trying to. The thing is, the reason it's more expensive than Spotify, but the reasons for it being more expensive aren't good reasons. As in, if you're going to compete with Spotify, you have to have a good reason for why it would be more than Spotify. Like if you want to compete with Spotify, you have to be on their level. Basically, like you need, it has to be free. You have to, have the same sort of offerings, but there has to be some reason why it's better. Which I think like Google Play Music is the closest competitor to Spotify in terms of like being good, I guess. Where Tidal is just and like Big Giver, he was saying and like by saying he was failing miserably. Press conference was like just a disaster because like it's all these millionaire artists that are saying like we're not getting paid enough for our music, where it's like why don't you just show like some independent artists and like artists who are underground and like struggling.
You know why they did that?
Earn money.
No one knows who those are, who those people.
Which
are.
I know why they didn't do it, but like I know why they didn't do it because you have to market this thing. If you want to market it, you want to have famous people, and that makes a lot of sense. But at the same time, though, it's like. Yeah, I don't want to again. Well, you guys are already millionaires anyways, so what's the point?
And since Taylor Swift's on it and she's not on Spotify, that's another. What I like about Tidal, I've been using the free trial. I really like the interface on the phone. I think it's a lot better than Spotify in that regard. So right now, the main appeal for me, if they had a free version, is just that Spotify or the Tidal's just like more. It looks better.
It's sleeker.
It's sleeker, and it's just nice to use. I just like it a lot. Yeah. And there's some cool stuff that they feature, like playlist by artists, which I think is cool. But I agree. Right now, the problem is the fact that there is no free offering, and that it is ridiculously expensive. But I just don't really see a way to get around that unless they I don't know, because like the way that they promise, the way that the thing is set up, it has to be expensive, which is the problem, which is why it's going to sadly fail. And I just hope, I hope they do something cool. I hope they think of something to do with it. Maybe just make a free version. But I don't know. That's
their issue is that it's not free, and that's like why it's going to fail. It's like if you want to, as much as Spotify, because it's free, the artists aren't getting paid as much. I think certain artists have found different ways to make money. Like touring and merch is like the main ways to make money now. I think artists are okay with that nowadays. I think Mumford and Sons, I don't know which member of the band, probably the lead singer, actually made like a really similar statement saying that like our albums are like these are works of art, and these are basically like we're using these albums as like kind of like works of arts and basically promotion for our tour. So and I like that approach now to albums where we're seeing them as works of art and basically just like this is just to promote like our touring and whatnot, which I think is what music is like. Making money in music nowadays is what it's come to, which I think is I think certain artists have adapted really really well to like that. Like I think Annie Clark, St. Vincent, like has done really well because she's just been touring like crazy for like a year and a half now, like ever since her album dropped like last year.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think albums now are what like album covers used to be, and like how people treated albums is how people treat shows now. It's a really strange time to be in the music world just because of the way it's being reshaped. And now that the internet is like actually a massive thing, like it runs our world. So it's interesting.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, very I think I agree with Ben Gibbard on this. It is going to fail miserably, which is kind of sad because it's like there needs to be competition to Spotify because they're like way up there right now. But it's just sort of like for Jay-Z, who prides himself on being a great businessman, this is a horrible fucking business decision. Like it would be in theory it'd be a better business decision, but in execution it's a horrible business decision. So I don't know.
Absolutely. And like FLAC, the whole like better audio quality thing is enough to like draw someone like me in who like pretty much only cares about music. But the fact of the matter is I'm poor as hell and I can't afford $20 for that. Like I just can't do it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, basically this quote from Ben Gibbard is like, in other news we learned that Ben Gibbard has common sense. Like I know it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
Ben Gibbard, speaking of Ben Gibbard, there was a trailer released for a documentary on the Postal Service, and it's going to premiere on November 14th, and then it's going to come out on Blu-ray and DVD on November 24th. And did anyone watch the trailer?
Nope.
I don't listen to the Postal Service, so like I kind of had like.
Give Up's a great album, but
I need to listen to it.
I think it's just a concert film, so I'm not really like super.
I think it's a documentary on the band, but it's also like double. It's kind of like
Is it like Shut Up and Play the Hits?
Shut Up and Play the
Hits. Yeah, it's basically like
yeah.
Shut Up and Play the Hits.
Okay, well I'm probably gonna watch it. Or is it like, it was a great. I'm sorry to tangent real fast, but speaking of documentaries, if you guys haven't seen Mistaken for Strangers, the national.
Dude, I still haven't watched that.
It is.
I've been meaning to watch that for so.
It's not even about like the national, more of a side point. It's more about the brother. It's more about the brothers. It's more about Tom Berenger and Matt Berenger. But it is.
Yeah.
It's even outside. Even if you don't like the national, it's still an amazing film. It is very, very good.
I've heard that.
It's got little parts of their concerts too. Their concerts, so it's like, it's just dank, Moving on. I think, should we move on? Are you moving on?
We should definitely move on.
Okay.
Alex got a haircut.
Woo!
I don't know why we are talking about this on the podcast, but
it's
yes,
cool. He cut
that
off
is true.
Big news.
Well, again, someone put it on there, so it's obviously news.
He cut off like
news.
one
That's
side
true.
of it. It's pretty sick.
I'll have to see when we get there.
Yeah, it looks really.
I completely
cool.
shaved the sides, and it's just like it's really long on the top, so it kind of.
And then combined with Alex's perpetual bags under his eyes is just like really attractive.
Yeah, a good friend of mine has that same look, and it's a good look, that's for sure.
We should include that in like the posts on Reddit.
What?
If you're all interested.
Yeah.
Just Alex,
or maybe a brief moment on like the YouTube stream, like just a clip of a photo or something. That'd be peachy.
r/Indieheads fashion blog.
God.
We're branching out.
Get your Perfume Genius shirts with cats on them now.
Mm-hmm.
Get your perfume,
Alright.
genius.
Moving on.
Oh, wait a second. Before we go to the record store day, I'm gonna make an official announcement because Ethan isn't here, and we already kind of announced this I think it was I don't know what thread it was. It was in a thread. Maybe I think it was in the podcast thread.
Yes.
By the way, next week, we're having Todd Hyman from Carpack Records on the podcast. So shout out to Ethan for setting all that shit up. Ethan is the number one stunner on the podcast, and also in the week after that. So let's see, next week is episode 19, I believe, and then episode 20. We're going to be interviewing John fucking Congleton.
John motherfucking Congleton.
Motherfucking John Congleton.
Shit.
Yeah.
Produced a bunch of records, a bunch of great records last year, and just great records in general.
So many.
St. Vincent's
So many great
last album.
Just go to the Wikipedia page and look at the artists he's produced. It's like a mile goddamn long.
Or if you want
And
more
he's
detail,
like-
go to Discogs.
He's only 38 too. That's super prolific. He's worked with a lot of people.
Motherfucker won a Grammy. We're having a Grammy winner on the R/Indieheads podcast. What are you
know.
doing with your life?
Lol.
I mean, well, Grammys aren't, useless, but hey, it's over. I'm interviewing a Grammy winner. That's
Grammys.
cool.
Grammys have a very specific use, and that's for subjugating black people.
Ooh,
True.
Okay,
True,
anyways.
but let's not get into this.
But yeah, we're very excited to be interviewing John. We're very grateful he decided to want to come on our podcast. Yay! Anyways, Record Store Day was today. Did you guys pick up anything?
It was a
I got a bunch of things.
I'm gonna start because I'm selfish. So I woke up at like 9:30 today, and I was like, "Let's go to Record Store Day." And I saw my car wasn't here, and then my mom was like driving around my car, and I got really scared. And she came home like 5 minutes later, and then I went to go to my record store, and the line was really long, and I was fearing for the worst because I knew they would have 3 copies of Grizzly Bear's album because I saw it on the sheet. I cheated, but yeah, I wasn't supposed to do that. But anyway, so I saw that, and then they finally opened up at 10, and we were all streaming in. And I saw it in the far right corner, like kind of behind the desk. It was kind of like hidden away. And it was like, I gotta get that. So I started like pushing people and like being like, excuse me, pardon me, coming through. And I managed to grab it, and I was like crying, and it was amazing. Father John Misty was gone. I didn't even see a copy of it. I didn't even see anyone holding it.
I didn't either.
And then I was just walking around looking for stuff, and randomly I saw Run the Jewels, and I was like, this didn't sell out. Okay. So and that was my record store day. I also got my Vinyl Me Please shipment in, which had a lot of good stuff in it. But I won't talk about that now. Who's next?
Alright, I'm going to talk about my stuff. So, I'm going to start with the singles. I managed to get the Marvin Gaye single, which is How Sweet It Is to Be Loved by You. And
there was a Marvin Gaye single?
Yeah. I'm excited to hear it. I haven't heard this song before. I kind of almost didn't because like I am pissed at Marvin Gaye's family right now, but like
don't take
fuck
that
it.
up.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna punish myself just to be like pissed at them.
Yeah, don't deprive yourselves of the music of Marvin Gaye just because he has a shitty family. It's like, damn, what a guy! Like everything that came out of him.
What's going on?
What's going on is perfect. It's like,
and I mean, even Let's Get It On or some of those other ones.
Too.
Yeah, Let's Get It On is amazing, and
it's
like
also like it's also about God too. I think that's what makes it awesome. It's about faith as well as sex, which I think is really cool.
Hear My Dear is pretty good too.
Hear My Dear is great. But what's going on is the best album ever made because for actually a few reasons. One, it's just amazing. Two, I think it is the quintessential timeless record, if that makes sense. Because it is always going to be relevant. I had that realization last year when I was listening to it, and it's like he's talking about the same things that we talk about now, 40 years ago.
Here's why it will always be relevant is because it is about absolute suffering. It is about absolute love and sex and lust, and it is about absolute like belief in something higher, which is the absolute like quintessentially the human experience.
Well, what's going on?
It just captures the human life to me. Like, oh god damn, what a record.
That's more Let's Get It On. What's going on is more political. There's not a lot of sex in what's going on at all. But
I don't know. There's something.
I don't hear it. But anyway, it's perfect. Both those albums are perfect.
I also got the Run the Jewels EP, and I am just now noticing that the packaging on it is damaged, which is disappointing. But
yeah, mine the corner is bent.
Well, the corner is bent like hell, but like there's actually a tear in the plastic, which
I guess a bunch of fuckboys must have put it together.
True.
Shout out to Ian Cohen for that.
So I got that, and that's exciting. I can't wait to hear the songs on it that are like newly released.
There's only one new song, I think.
The new one's pretty good.
I haven't heard the other one though, so like
I listened to it today.
I mean, and I got Horn of Plenty. Which
yeah, boy.
Exciting. I really like the sticker they put on it. I think it fits really well with the packaging and looks cool. But yeah, I'm excited to hear that album. I haven't listened to it yet.
It's for me when I tried to take it off.
Yeah. And I got Okay. Sorry, I knocked something over. I got Sun Ra calling Planet Earth. I haven't. I haven't listened to Sun Ra yet, but I'm a fan of what I have seen of his poetry, so I'm excited for this record. It's got a really cool cover.
You're in for a treat, man.
I'm sure I am. He's a great writer.
Oh yeah. His music, like, it's cosmic. Like, that's what it's called, and that's what it is.
And then, last of all, this wasn't a record store day release, but I got it anyway. I got Crooked Rain by Pavement.
Nice.
Because it was pretty cheap in the store, even though pretty much everything else was really expensive. Oh, that is one of the
best indie albums ever.
I also picked up Heaven or Las Vegas by Cocteau Twins, because it was there and it was cheap. And that was my record store day.
Yay.
Anybody else have a good record store day?
I had to wake up at 5:45 this morning to go to work, and I didn't get to go to my record store. Well, my record store's kind of shit anyway, so I don't really regret not going. I didn't really want to get anything this year anyways. Nothing really interested me.
What about you, Keaton?
Yeah, actually, so here's the thing. As I aforementioned, I don't have much money at all, but that gives me a lot of good opportunity to go really digging for some of those used records, and I found some interesting things. Like, I found the Reavers, which is a supergroup that contains Billy Woods, who's one of my favorite MCs, as well as Vord Omega, who Cannibal Ox is one of my favorite hip-hop groups. And that's a maxi single, so I'm excited to spin that. And I got a DJ Shadow maxi single as well, and I love him. I got a big old Ray Charles record, and I'm excited to listen to that. And also a Cure single, which has just beautiful art that'll probably just end up hanging on my wall. So, yeah, kind of nice.
All right, Sarah?
I've done 2 records.
What?
Sorry.
She owns 2 records.
I own 1 record. I don't know. I'm not a record person.
Okay.
Yeah. I spend all my money on concerts instead of records.
Yay.
All right. So that was record store day.
So I guess we'll go to what we've been listening to this week. This week, I listened to Sufjan Stevens, The Age of Odds. Fantastic record. I was thinking about. I think Jeremiah. I think you may like this comparison. Okay. Would you agree that Age of Odds would be Sufjan Stevens' My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy?
Would
you agree with that comparison?
That means Carrie and Lowell is Jesus.
No. Okay. No. Carrie and Lowell is not. No. Carrie and Lowell is like 808s and Heartbreak. I say, okay, can I try to make this comparison
That's
real quick?
a really funny comparison.
It is.
I say it's because again, they both came out in the same year, okay? Well, again, they're both sort of most people consider them to be like the magnum opus of their careers.
I think a lot of people. It's Illinois for most people.
It's like a tie, I think, between the two. I want to say they're both, again, I think they both have somewhat of like this sort of epic feeling about them. Like they really feel they've just.
They both drop plenty of F-bombs.
Yeah, they both feel like cinematic. They really feel like these are big albums. Like they really feel like this is massive. Like they just have these epic feelings about them, and I'm doing a really bad job at comparing this. It just, again, to me, it just feels like that. Like I just it feels like, well, this is kind of like his My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, even though
infamously.
I'm not gonna talk about it. I'm not gonna.
For 2 artists that are fundamentally different in a lot of ways, they still pull through with certain pieces of art that can compare to each other. And if you had to compare Kanye West and Sufjan Stevens, I would say that The Age of Odds and My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy would match it pretty well.
Thank you, Keaton. Thank you.
I mean, for me, it's because I think Illinois is probably, I think it's his best.
I think Illinois would be kind of like his Graduation or something like that.
His Late Registration. Probably.
Yeah, Late Registration, Graduation. They're both. I mean, Graduation and Late Registration, like his first 3 albums are our first 3 kind of albums are actually kind of similar, except for Graduation, which is just a bit more popular.
Really. No, because they're very.
At least Late Registration and College Dropout are pretty similar.
I don't think so.
No, they're very different. Because with Late Registration,
really
Kanye completely switched it up because he went to John Bryan, the famous movie score maker and also composer, and so we just brought in strings on strings on strings.
Yeah, Late Registration
and went away
was
more
super orchestral.
and what he kind of
almost like Illinois, yes.
What?
No, Illinois.
No.
There's a thought.
Wait, hold on. But that
In
means
comparison to
graduation-
Michigan and Seven Swans, right?
It means graduation is Age of Odds, which means that
sonically.
all the delighted people is 808s, which means that Carrie and Lowell is My Beautiful
Okay,
Dark
I
Fantasy,
really
which
regret
works.
comparing them.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay, let's stop. Let's
just move on. Let me move on to what else I listened to. I listened to the new Tyler the Creator album, Cherry Bomb. I think I feel really, really conflicted about this album because I like it overall, but there's like, it's an album that like, if you're just like kind of like casually listening to it, like your first couple of listens, you go, oh wow, this is, there's a couple of things that are a little about, like the mixing's not really that great, but like you kind of realize like, well, yeah, this is how it's meant to be, and when you get like used to the mixing, you go, oh wow, this is actually kind of cool, and then you start listening to the lyrics and you're like, oh well, Tyler's, this is just really immature, like this is just maybe like more immature than Wolf, and then you really get in the lyrics and go, oh wow, this is kind of like, this is jailbait. It's kind of like, because I did a video review on it, and which you should totally check out. My YouTube channel is Matty Mo. You can see my face on the profile picture, and it looks stupid. But anyways, yeah, like I think this album, like once you dig deep into it, you go, oh, like you find a lot you don't like about it. So it's kind of better to like try to casually listen to it, which is weird. Because Tyler, again, one thing that Tyler has always prided himself on is that when you really dig deep into his records, you really find a lot of really cool stuff, like production, lyrics and whatnot. But this is the one album where I would say like, not dig deep into this album, like just don't look at the lyrics, just don't, like if you enjoy it, like just listen to it for the music because the production's great, and I generally enjoy Tyler's presence on the album. But it's probably like my second least favorite album from Tyler after like Goblin, which is just sort of a rushed mess of an album. So Cherry Bomb, kind of disappointing in certain ways.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
it's weird because I feel a maturing in Tyler production style and like a certain artistry to it, but like everything lyrically about that record is like, so like it's truly immature. Like he uses the same metaphor about like finding your wings, which is very cliche, like on the entire
I don't know
first
if I say that. That's more of just a theme of the album is finding your wings. That's just the theme of the album.
But hearing him literally say the words "find your wings" or something about an airplane over and over and over again, and then not to mention, when you dig deep into the whole like pedophilia thing and statutory rape, like that's absolutely off-turning and disgusting and wrong, and I want nothing to do with that. So it's like the instrumental aspects of this album were really promising for me, but everything else about it was like very, very off-putting. So I feel like if Tyler just put down the microphone and get behind some mixing boards or samplers, what have you, and stick to that.
Yeah,
maybe he'll be making art.
He needs to stick with production because he's even said multiple times that like he doesn't like rapping anymore. So it just makes me like ask the question like, why the fuck are you rapping then? Like you know countless singers, like just produce for them. Like yeah. I don't get it at this point why he's rapping. And also, Tyler, if you're listening, which you probably aren't, you're 24, dude. Stop using the word faggot, okay? Like it was cool and edgy whenever you were like 20 something, like whenever like you were 19. Even then, it was kind of like but I was like I was like 14, so I thought it was cool. But like now it's just sort of like, grow the fuck up, dude. Like you are 24. Like you need to, which and then it's just this weird thing where it's like, well, that's Tyler's personality, and I think it's just like I don't like Tyler's personality as much as I used to anymore. Yeah. And I think he's a very smart person, but at the same time he's a fucking idiot, which I think Earl like described Tyler as that, where like he's very smart, but he's also a fucking idiot in certain cases.
I think there is, as much as there is a polarization in the listener and in the absolute sonics of Cherry Bomb, I think there's like a strange polarization in Tyler himself, because when he gets behind a cell phone or when he gets behind obviously a microphone, like there is an absolute just idiocy, just like absolute foolishness that comes out of him. But like outside of that, I think he's probably an somewhat intelligent artist. And it's just scary where, like, everything bad comes out of him when he tries to rap. Like, if he just stays away from it, then maybe we'll be getting really good Tyler, the Creator music. Because I've always loved the instrumentals on those records, but just not a fan of what he's saying.
Mm-hmm. Does anyone else here have any thoughts on Cherry Bomb?
I enjoyed it, but I only listened to it a few times, so I wasn't really looking deep. Like, I don't know, I think it's definitely some of his best production work, but yeah. I was kind of spacing out for your whole discussion, I'm sorry.
It's fine. I understand, like, because we're just sort of ranting, because I'm just sort of repeating myself from what I said in my review. But yeah, this is just sort of like a kind of disappointing record. Hopefully Tower he keeps progressing his production, and hopefully he just stops rapping, because it's just like, either grow the fuck up or stop rapping. Simple as that.
I'd rather he grow up than stop rapping.
I would rather, because I like Tyler. Like I said, I like his general presence on the album, because I've always liked him as a rapper. But it's just sort of like, I'm getting sick of it at this point, that like you're still like really immature. Which it's like on previous albums where he was immature, like on Bastard. The thing is, he had an excuse. He was 18, and he was very much depressed, full of angst, and all this stuff. And now he's very happy, which is just sort of like, okay, that's cool. You're happy. I'm great as a person. That's great. But it's not making your music too good, or at least it's not making your rapping too good. So I don't know. What you listen to, Jeremiah?
Oh hey, so I've been listening to a lot of Real Estate, because Atlas and Days, they're both really good. I kind of got into them during the winter, or the fall and winter, so I never really had a chance to actually listen to them during the summer, and so I put Atlas in my car. I've been doing a lot of cruising, and it is so blissful. That is the most
essential,
easygoing and like relaxing and just beautiful, just like summer, just like yeah, senior year. I don't even care. Awesome. Like that's what that is, and it's just so nice. Like it's just such great albums too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's every once in a while the one dude sings that's not the lead singer. I don't really like that very much, but other than that, I mean, it's just so good. So
if you get a chance to listen to that first album.
I've not listened to the first album yet.
It's actually super excellent. Like probably one of the more stronger debuts. Like, damn, yeah.
I believe it.
I probably listen to that more than I listen Days, although I love those records. Like the first Real Estate record, which is self-titled, there's a certain like fresh sound to it all. Like imagine that fresh, like beautiful, just easygoing vibe that's on that, and just like right as the sun is beginning to rise, where you get that like fresh air, that fresh cool air. Like imagine that in a record, and that's what you get on that first Real Estate record.
I just love that guitar. The fact that it's like always like a duet. Every song is like a duet between the singer and the guitar, and I just think that's such a cool thing. It's just so nice, it's so pleasant. And then the other thing I've been listening to. Nope.
Oh wait, I have a comment. One of the guitarists from Real Estate has a solo band called DuckTales, and they opened for Panda Bear, and I saw him last night.
Were they good?
It's just the one. It's just the one guy.
Oh, it's just the one guy.
And it felt like Real Estate without like so much structure, I guess. So it was really nice. It's nice, kind of like much more ambient.
Yeah. To me, and like some people hate this word, I use it. I think it's a legitimate genre, but I think like imagine Real Estate making chillwave music, and that's what you get in DuckTales.
Yeah. So I just wanted to I saw him last night. He's really talented. But
also, quick note. For Record Store Day, my local record store, as I'm sure many record stores do, always have a little freebie section when you buy records on Record Store Day. What? And what I got, just little things like CDs and stickers and posters. Oh. And one of the things I got was a Real Estate Atlas sticker. That's a pretty decent size.
Jealous.
I love it. There's a postcard by the noise band Boredoms, and then there's also real thick stickers by Orwell's that I got. Yeah. Good stuff. Anyways.
Well, right,
what else do you listen to?
I also recently picked up Lost in the Dream after notoriously on, I think, the third podcast.
Wait, Jeremiah, I never heard you listen to In the Airplane Over the Sea for the first time.
We're talking about that later. So anyways, Lost in the Dream. I infamously said in I think it was the third or fourth, but it was the year-end one. We're talking about
it was the second one. I want to say it's the second. I
wasn't on the second one. It was the third one.
It was? Okay.
We talk about our most overrated albums. And my two overrated albums were FKA Twigs and Lost in the Dream. FKA Twigs because I hated the cover art and it was everywhere. And then Lost in the Dream because it seemed overrated. I don't know. I had never actually listened to either of them. Lucia Cruz called me out in the comments and was like, clearly you haven't listened to it enough if you think it's bad. And I was like, hey, I haven't listened to it. Anyways. So, in other words, I just trashed on these two albums having not listened to them. I have since listened to both of them. FK Twigs is very, very good, and I feel like an idiot, and I think it's hilarious, what I said. And then Lost in the Dream, I just got. And I don't know. It's kind of weird for me, because the first two songs, Under the Pressure and Red Eyes, are so good. Those are such good songs. And then it just, suddenly turns into the song called Suffering, which is so long, drawn out, and boring, and it just aches, you know? It feels like you're stagnating, and it just feels, I don't know. But other than that, it's pretty good, you know, I like it. Sometimes it feels feels really rooted in nostalgia, and I feel like it's almost so rooted in nostalgia, so rooted in the 80s that it's doesn't actually feel fresh, which I'm not big on that. It doesn't feel fresh to me. And I just had a weird experience with it today because I decided to play it at work because, you know, it seems like the kind of thing that I could play at work. You know, it's nice. And it was miserable. But, it's kind of weird. It's not miserable, musically, but, the way, because it was really hot outside and in our work, I think I mentioned this already, but, in our work we had the doors open, but there was no cross breeze. So it was 80 degrees. It was, stifling heat. And with the music, it just felt like time was going super slowly. And, the slow songs of the album just, made me, it felt like every step took, forever to do. And I don't know. It definitely is. There's a really weird feeling that it can instill in you. I think it's actually pretty good. I've yet to decide. I think it's going to be good for road trips, by the way, Alex. So you're going to have to listen to it a few times.
Okay.
But,
I just have zero interest in
I know, I had no interest in it either. And I'm not really super big on his voice, but I think I'm gonna need to listen to it more before I really make my opinion. But I mean it's solid. Sometimes it feels like it's a little bit too rooted in nostalgia. I'm not sure if I agree with most publications who called it their album of the year. I think there are stronger things, such as Pom Pom, such as Benji. That's the other reason why I resented it. I love Benji. Benji is fantastic. And, everybody started trashing on Benji because of the whole Sun Kill Moon versus War on Drugs drama. That kind of made me resent War on Drugs. But, I mean, sometimes it just feels too nostalgic a little bit. I think that's my biggest complaint. Sometimes it feels like it's stagnating. It's stagnating in the past.
Would you say that the whitest band on Earth?
What?
Would you say that they're the whitest band on Earth?
No. But it's definitely, I mean, maybe that's the kind of thing they were going for, and I've actually heard arguments for that, and I am going to have to give it more listens, but I decided to let you guys know that I'm finally listening to that, and it's interesting. The fast songs are great. Here's my final verdict: the fast songs are great. The slower songs will need time to grow on me. That's what I'm saying. All right, who's up next?
So, Keaton, what'd you listen to this week?
All right, so I've been listening to Frank Ocean a lot. I actually never did get into Frank Ocean, and that was because due to aforementioned thoughts on Tyler the Creator and his previous music, I pretty much just stayed away from all things Odd Future until I watched the Anthony Fantano review of Earl Sweatshirt's Doris, and that got me to listen to that album, and I kind of fell in love with that album. And then recently...
Don't say anything, Matty.
I won't say anything.
All right, good. Because, since I re-listened to it and I feel differently. Anyways, Frank Ocean, I'm talking about Frank Ocean. This is just one of those guys who has such a hold on pop music and pop songwriting that, I don't think he can do wrong. Like he just knows how to sing beautiful songs. And there's a lot of interesting concepts on here. Like if you read into it, some of the stuff about how his dad like ran NA and AA meetings and he would sit in them and like listen to what people said, and that's where crack rock comes from. And like some of the weird like
amazing
song.
Oh yeah.
That might be my
Crack
favorite
Rock,
Frank
Crack
Ocean
Rock,
song.
Pyramids, Lost. That's 3-song sequence.
Monks is underrated. I love
I know,
Monks.
Monks
The
is
drums
great.
Yes,
are incredible.
Monks was my favorite song after
The
listening
drums
to
are
that
so
for the first
incredible
time.
on that song.
Wait, hold on. Let me say Lost, or sorry, Crack Rock, Pyramids, and Lost are so good, and they're such a perfect conceptual arc. Like normally when you hear 3-song sequences, you usually hear for like you listen for the sound. They go really, really well together. These are 3 songs that not only go perfectly together, but they also are so thematically unified and like so powerful. Because crack rock is obviously about the crack epidemic. But then you look at Pyramids, which is, Cleopatra. I mean that song's about the black experience with them being like royalty in Africa. Only to be degraded to like a prostitute, in America.
Yeah,
That's so powerful. That's such a powerful image. And as like I don't know, I feel like it shouldn't be I don't know. And then Lost is just a beautiful song, which goes even further into that, which looks even more into that, and into like selling drugs and like love too.
Yeah.
Like love is a fundamental part in all of those songs. Whether it's love for your fellow man in Crack Rock, where he's talking about police brutality, or it's the love with the singer and Cleopatra in Pyramids, and then of course in Lost with the singer and then the anonymous girl who's helping him make meth, and that's just like, I mean, it's just such a powerful 3-song sequence, and it starts with Pilot Jones too, which is the one that like brings in that's like the intro to the 3-song sequence. But I mean, it's just such a breathtaking, such a well crafted. I mean, that's honestly a modern classic.
Oh yeah, I absolutely
it's
agree.
100% one of the best.
And like,
songs of the decade.
It's interesting because it's another one of those records that it's rooted in love. Like it's called Channel Orange because Synthesia.
And Thinking About You is one of the best love songs I've ever heard. Like, oh my god, Thinking About You. And it's so like, it's not even like it's just, oh man, I don't know. And the other thing that helps is I first listened to it when I was in Menorca, which is an island in the Mediterranean. A Spanish island in the Mediterranean, and it was so blissful.
So
every time I
Frank
hear it,
Ocean.
I just go straight back. And so I've been listening to it again since the summer, and I'm just like, and Golden Girl comes on, and I'm just like, oh.
Back there.
Can I tell
it's interesting. Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
Sorry, a story about Thinking About You. So whenever Frank Ocean came out as gay, one of the funniest things is on an Odd Future forum that I go on, someone posted a thing like in like big, bold, like huge font letters. So you're telling me Thinking About You is about a man? I sang that shit like so many times. What the fuck? Which was like true. It really was like, oh god, that song's about a man. It's still like really catchy though, so it's like I can't complain too much.
And I think that makes it even more powerful.
Oh yeah,
it makes it even more forbidden, even more not supposed to be.
Isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. I think the whole new take, like, I think it's very fresh, a fresh breath of air for like what is essentially at its core pop music, to have that like not so heterosexual take on everything, not so male going towards female kind of aspect on it all. It's a fresh breath of air that's all over Channel Orange, and it's like pure love. Like, it's not based in one specific kind of love. It is very much an all kind of love that at the same time is still has a lot of roots in like suffering and like overall aspects, because on songs like Super Rich Kids and a few others, they give these people who have it off well. Like, they have a lot of good things for them, but they're still absolutely suffering. Like, there are lyrics of suicide all over that song. But then there are people, things like Crack Rock, where like they're absolutely down and out, but they still, and obviously they feel suffering from that, but there's still life there too. Like, it captures love and hurt so well.
And actually, I'm gonna bring up a book real fast, which is not the book you guys think I'm gonna bring up, but Winesburg, Ohio by Sherwood Anderson. This is kind of cool. Give me a second. He talks about the grotesque, like that's like the main thing about Sherwood Anderson, and the grotesque isn't like, it's like characters who are they're so just fucked up, you know? They're just so messed up. Like, he says that they find a truth and they cling onto it until it warps them and shapes them and makes them grotesque. And in a way, every character on this album is grotesque.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that's one of the most compelling things about the album. And that's what makes this book so compelling too, is that these are all characters who are inherently broken. They're just so like shattered, but you find so much humanity and just like beauty and power in them. Like with like with Thinking About You, it's about unrequited love and just like this obsession over a guy, which was probably just a fling for the other guy in a summer, but like it's powerful. And then you got Sierra Leone, which are two teenagers having a child, you know, and then Sweet Life, which is about a rich kid who's depressed because he's rich and he's isolated and he feels like, and the same thing with, it's just, I don't know. I think that idea of the grotesque, after I read this book, it just like, you know, you start hearing that stuff, you start picking up on that stuff in music, like My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, Kanye is a grotesque character. Like that's
or
the kind
honestly,
of thing. It's so compelling. And
honestly,
that's what best part of what makes this album amazing.
I think hip-hop as a genre as a whole, and I was thinking about this when I was listening to Mos Def recently, who's one of my all-time favorite rappers, and like also listening to Tupac, listening to Pimp a Butterfly a lot, and thinking about like, I have a past rooted in Christianity, not so much anymore, but anyway, we'll not talk about beliefs, but like I just got this thought where like, there's so much more spiritual, like, beautiful wisdom things you can get from rappers than from a preacher, because they're sinners, because they're real, and they admit to it on every single level, but they still say these things that are, like, profound wisdoms of life.
And also, hip-hop also gets a lot better when you read confessional poetry, too.
Mm-hmm.
So,
absolutely.
Like, Plath is...
Oh, yeah.
I mean, obviously there's some rappers, like, I just recently picked up Srem Life, which is great in its own special way, probably because it's really ironic. But you know, there are obviously like rappers that aren't really about that. But yeah, the thoughtful rappers. I mean, there's so much. It's amazing.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Also, he's a cutie. He's one of my man crushes.
Frankie. They actually picked the single worst picture for him. I'm like, can we talk about that for just 30 seconds? How Wikipedia, for all of the all musicians pages, they get literally the worst pictures possible for everyone.
Sometimes I see that a lot.
Right,
but
look at Sharon Van Etten. She looks like it's like she's like straining to sing a note, and she's like sweaty, and just like it's from a bad angle, and she doesn't look like Sharon Van Etten.
Panda Bears.
Look at Saint Vincent, and it's like under her, and she looks like a skeleton. Honestly,
she's like a gorgeous woman, and they made her
and she looks like a skeleton. And I was like,
you know it's pretty weird. I noticed. Okay, so I like a lot of weird music, and one of my favorite artists from the '80s is Klaus Nomi, who was like this weird operatic singer who wore face paint, and like his picture, even though he was a freaky dude with a freaky voice and looked freaky, his picture on Wikipedia is like stunning to me.
Yeah, you know, there's just some weird stuff with that.
Mm-hmm.
So Alex, you're up. Or are we?
Sorry, my mic's doing, guys.
Not finished yet.
I'm tired.
Yeah, Keaton has. Okay, I think we're kind of slow on time, so I would just say like
let's
talk about
pretty fast.
So
okay, yeah, never mind about
You can say it, but just like make it.
Okay.
Just touch on it briefly.
One of Trick's Point Never's record Replica. Interesting musician, not that like loved, but still like rooted in music because he replaced Death Grips right after they broke up on the 9 Inch Nails tour, and also because he was one of the bands that was picked when Animal Collective curated ATP Festival. His music is just really, really interesting ambient music that I just fell in love with. The loops on these records, there's a lot of loops, and they feel more like broken records than they do feel like just samples. So if you're interested in strange electronic music and strange sample-based music, I absolutely push you to listen to One of Trick's Point Never if you haven't already.
Okay, so nice, that's nice. All right, so what did you listen to this week, Alex?
Okay, so I saw Sufjan live last week, and it was awesome, and I'm going to talk about it on the late night for anyone who is interested. But
Major
since the
concert talk on the late night.
Yeah, since the concert, I've been listening to like most of his discography, specifically Michigan, Seven Swans, All Delighted People, and Carrie and Lowell. Those have been playing on like the daily, but peppered with a little bit of Illinois and Age of Odds. And it's been a blast. Like, I'm loving all of these records, and it's not that I didn't love them before, but it's like I'm enjoying them on a whole new level now. I don't know, like, it's been great. I was probably, like, the most pleasantly surprised by Seven Swans, because I didn't expect to love that one as much as I do. To Be Alone With You is, like, it's an intensely intimate and beautiful song, and it's easily one of his best, like, in my opinion.
Wait, Alex, I'm so excited, because that's the one album I haven't listened to by Sufjan.
Good luck.
I'm really excited.
Have fun.
I'm really excited that you say that. Okay.
Yeah.
What happened,
Okay,
Enjoy Your Rabbit?
No, I haven't heard Enjoy Your Rabbit, actually, but we're talking about Seven Swans.
I haven't listened to Michigan in full. I haven't listened to Seven Swans.
Michigan is awesome. You should
Seven
really...
Swans, man.
Yeah, but yeah, so like, I really wanted to talk about the title track too, because it's like, it's maybe his best vocal performance, at least for me right now. It is, and that's saying a lot. He's an incredible vocalist, and it's just like on Seven Swans, he just sounds so vulnerable and meek and afraid almost, and it's beautiful. His voice cracks, and it just like makes the whole performance. It's an incredible track. Other than that, though, I'm loving The Owl and the Tanager from All Delighted People and the Upper Peninsula from Michigan. Like, those songs specifically, I find myself, like, singing them quietly to myself, or, like, I don't know, just thinking about them while hanging out and not listening to music. But yeah, I'm not going to talk about Carrie and Lowell at all, because we did that a couple weeks ago, but that album is incredible, too. And then I've been listening to Frank Ocean's first album, Nostalgia Ultra, and it's really good. I'm not gonna talk about it much, just to move this along, but yeah, it's a great record. I at first it kind of bugged me that he was on instrumentals that I already knew and in some cases loved, but like, I've grown to really enjoy his renditions, except for Nature Feels. Like, that one bugs me for some reason. I don't know.
I love that song.
I think his version of Hotel California is better.
I do too.
Than Hotel California.
Yeah.
Fuck the Eagles.
I think his cover of Strawberry Swing is also pretty tasteful too.
Yeah, I love that.
Strawberry Swing is definitely my favorite Coldplay songs.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, we're gonna listen to his new album. Hopefully, it's gonna leak before we road trip, Alex.
What?
That's the goal. His new album. It's gonna leak
yeah.
before we road trip. It's gonna be all.
Wait, you guys going to Pitchfork, right?
You're damn right. We're going to Pitchfork.
Yeah.
I want to go.
Jeremiah, Sara, and I are going to Pitchfork together. For those who don't know.
Woo!
I really want to
Matty,
go,
you should
but like
go.
I have to get. Well, the thing is, I have to save up money, and then I'll have to like convince my parents to like take me, which is gonna be fucking difficult.
Lol.
Yeah.
Parents.
Lol.
Parents just don't understand.
Okay.
Parents just don't understand. Are your parents hecka lame?
They don't let
They're
them.
not hecka lame, but they're kind of strict. Like, okay, so before, because this is a little off topic, I should probably tell some late night, but like, I went
It's
somewhere this
cool.
morning.
Like, the only person left to talk. It's the only person who has left to talk about what they've been listening to is me, and I haven't been talking for like an hour. So just go on, Matty. It's fine.
Okay, I'll say it real quick. So the thing is, I work today. I didn't want to work today. Like, my aunt, who's like my boss, she's like, hey, do you want to work, tomorrow at like 7 in the morning? And I'm like, no. And then like my mom calls me after school because my parents, they're out of town right now, and you're texting your aunt and you're texting your aunt and you're going, you're telling her you're going to work. And I'm like, fine. It's like, I don't, like, every fucking day, like, they ask me to work, I've worked. So I think I deserve like one day because I want to fucking sleep in because I haven't got like any sleep all weekend. It's horrible. Okay, go on ahead, Sara.
Okay. Well, if anyone is still listening to the podcast and is interested in hearing what I've been listening to this week, for those 3 of you holding on strong, I don't know. I just went to a bunch of shows this week, so mainly everything I was listening to was just like before I go to shows, I like to get pumped up on the artist. So I just listened to. I saw Built to Spill on Saturday night, and then I saw Mac DeMarco and Belle and Sebastian on Thursday, and then I saw Panda Bear yesterday. I'm going to talk about those concerts on the late night because I have a lot to say. But also, I listened to Brother Sport like 12 times in a row the other day.
Open up your
Open up your throat and let the
You got to open up your throat.
Yeah, exactly. And that song's about Matty, so it was great. But I listening to Panda Bear, like, okay, because I really, really love Person Pitch, and I listened to Panda Bear vs. Grim Reaper like enough, but Tomboy was the one that I had only listened to a couple times, and like I know it's really a great record, but for some reason I just like hadn't ever listened to it like a lot, so I listened to it like 5 times, like 2 days in a row, and I got like super into it, and then the entire encore that Panda played was just from Tomboy, and it was so good. It was so ridiculous, guys. It was such a good show. Stay tuned to the late night if you want to hear about that.
I'm so excited for Pitchfork.
Hey, dude. It's gonna be fun. Okay. Also I got to meet From the Sea, that guy who posted it. He talked to Mac DeMarco. We met up at Panda Bear. So
really?
That was my first Art Indieheads meetup, and he was super cool, and we talked about Animal Collective for like an hour, and user In the Sea, was his name was Devin or Devon, I don't remember. Yeah, but he was really cool, and it gave me faith that our Indieheads readers aren't like creepy and
except hold on. When we did, which one was it? Which essential thread was it? I don't remember which one, but I had Kanye at the bottom, and then he was like, dude, you need to stop putting Kanye at the bottom. And I was so sad. It was so sad.
Yeah, man, you do.
So
fuck you. Anyway, so, that was great. That's what I've listened to this week, is a lot of Panda Bear and a lot of Belle and Sebastian. Oh, you guys, I love Belle and Sebastian so much. Oh my gosh. They played two Tiger Milk songs too. I cried.
Ones?
They played Electronic Renaissance. And they did. It was fucking incredible. And they played She's Losing It, and that was the song that made me sob. Oh my god, they played She's Losing It. I couldn't believe they played that song. Oh my god.
Damn.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, goddamn is right. Holy cow, what a show. Okay, so that is it for what Sarah's been listening to this week.
Alright, so there's no main topic
podcast. Yeah.
So yeah, there's no main topic this week. So because we've been going on way too fucking long, and we apologize.
I feel like because I'm not gonna be on late night because I want to go to bed soon. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you guys why I suddenly inexplicably started laughing really hard during the podcast, and I felt kind of bad about it because my mic wasn't muted. And you guys mentioned that you guys would take bets to see how long before this book would come up, but the book is called Unbearable, a Russet Falls novel by W.H. Vega. This was a Christmas present from a certain someone, and it is... You should just go ahead and look it up, guys. Just go ahead and Google it for me, just so you can see the cover. I'm gonna go ahead and read you the back.
I know, he told me about this yesterday. I'm
gonna go ahead and read the back for you.
It's quite possibly one of the worst books I've ever heard about.
Finds herself Matty, it's one of the best books I've ever read. What's a girl to do when she finds herself face to face with a ferocious bear in the middle of the forest? Gabby never should have stumbled off the beaten path, but hindsight is, well, and not to mention, she hates bears. Thank God for Zane, a super sexy park ranger who just happens to be on patrol and comes to Gabby's rescue. The two immediately butt heads, but Gabby can't control the overwhelming urge to let him take what he wants, and he can't deny that she is everything he wants. What Zane doesn't tell Gabby is that he's a werebear shifter and second in command of the ruthless Virtus clan. She's got a few surprises of her own, and she won't be easy prey. When a rival bear clan discovers Gabby has royal blood through her veins, the hunt is on. She has no choice but to seek Zane's protection, the incredibly sexy, super cocky man who just also happens to be a bear. What doesn't tell Gabby is that he's the reason she hates bears in the first place. He's the one who killed her father 20 years ago. This is a standalone romance novel, no cliffhanger. The first book in the Russet Falls series. Content suitable for adults only, contains violence, sassy females, alpha males, and their graphic sexual encounters. 60,000 words in length. So go ahead. Do you guys want me to read the excerpts that made me... Actually, no, I probably shouldn't. That would make our thing flagged.
Maybe on the next late night.
This is a great book. It's about 18 font. 2.5 space. No page numbers. It's pretty thick because it's so... the cover is... Alright.
9.6 best new reprint.
It's so good. And she actually got me two because one of them... Because Amazon actually gave it to me twice. And so now I have two.
Okay, so,
what was that?
I don't know. Anyways.
The kazoo again.
It's back.
Alright, have a good one, guys. Matty,
Okay, yeah, this podcast is really long. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's podcast, and the song of the week is Crystal Castle's Frail. Bye. It was the most popular song of the week. That's how it goes here, Alex.
Oh my god,
you know how
I
this
hate
should
you
go.
all.
What happened? I'm sorry, Sarah.
Alright.
Bye, guys.
This happens.
That's it for the podcast. Good night,
Is it
everyone.
over yet? Can I